There is major fan concern as Kota Ibushi wrestles a 30-minute match with a broken ankle. We also have an update on a top WWE star's return and a bit of backstage news on the recent WWE talent meeting. It's all in the wrestling news. Hello everybody, Jack here with a very cold Fraser Porter.
Very cold.
This room is a little bit nippy. Let's talk about Kota Ibushi. A bit of negative news to start really, as he competed in his first singles match in Japan. He's obviously been in AEW.
He's not had any. Yeah, he's been in multi-man matches seemingly exclusively since his return to wrestling back at Blood and Guts.
I think he might have had a Bloodsport match or something like that. But yeah, this was his first singles match in Japan since October 2021, as he faced Nomichi Marufuji in the main event of Pro Wrestling Noah's The New Year, which took place yesterday. And yeah, it didn't go to plan, Fraser.
No, so going into the match, he had a broken ankle and already going in, and a broken hand. He ended up landing awkwardly on his ankle only minutes into the match, following a springboard moonsault from the corner. He looked like he was struggling to get up on the turnbuckle on the side of the apron. And then when he landed, it was quite clear there was something wrong. He landed very badly on his ankle. He then went on to wrestle 33 minutes before he eventually won the match, and then was unable to stand. He collapsed after the match, both ankles looking absolutely wrecked.
Yes. Then Hochi.News reported that Ibushi complained of severe pain following the match, because a lot of people might have thought, well, he's just selling really well. But if you watch the match, he's clearly struggling all the way through. And even though I'm sure some of it was selling, apparently after the match, he did complain legitimately of severe pain and was transported to a local hospital due to injuries to both ankles, not just the one that was already broken heading in. The full extent of his injuries are unknown, though, at the time of recording, but many fans and industry analysts have expressed their concern with the situation.
And Jason Solomon saying, what I just saw of Kota Ibushi on the no-show was sad. The man is out there working with a broken ankle and looks nothing like his old self, bad ankle or not. He has no business being in the ring. At what point does someone step in there? And I think that's a good sort of analysis of it, is like two companies had to approve his appearance in that match with a broken ankle already. Yeah,
and I think as well, it's, yes, the ankle won't have helped things, but I think people did notice, even starting right at the start of his return with that Blood and Guts match, that he was coming off a lot of injuries, unfortunately, and he didn't quite look the same. And yes, he set a very high bar for himself, because he was one of the best in the world, probably, when he was at his peak. But it's very unfortunate, and it's unknown whether he'll be able to recapture those heights again. Sean Ross Sapp said, that Kota Ibushi performance was tough to watch. It's not the same guy. I hope he can properly heal up. I know he had to overcome so much to get back into the ring. It's currently, and often cage match ratings are a bit sensationalist.
Yeah.
They move with, but it's currently the second lowest rated Japanese match in all of cage match with a 0.58 out of 10.
That's not something you were used to seeing from Kota Ibushi. Obviously, I think a lot of this negative backlash to it is in the result of an injured man working through a match where he was quite clearly injured early on, and instead of stopping the match. I mean, it had a lot of pressure on it. It was the main event of Noah's big show of the start of the year. So like, I can understand on a level where they're going, right, let's just batter through it. But really, that match should have been stopped.
He should never have been put in that position in the first place.
Exactly.
And I don't think people, in giving this low rating, are criticizing Ibushi. They're criticizing the very fact that he was in the match and expected to carry such a load as well. Elsewhere, talking about WWE now, we've got an update on Charlotte Flair. She was recently ruled out of action after suffering a nasty injury in that match with Asuka, I believe, on that recent episode of SmackDown. And now the extent of her injury, Fraser, has been revealed.
Yeah, of course, you mentioned she fell on, it was December 8th episode of SmackDown. She tore her ACL, her MCL, and her meniscus as a result, all knee surgery. She is requiring surgery, which is scheduled for later this week in Alabama. A new report from PW Insider suggests that Flair will miss most of 2024, with a return date of October penciled in for Charlotte, which is what we've been speculating for a wee while since that injury, is the fact that these take a long time to come back for us, about 9 months on the shelf, give or take, and it means that she's going to miss WrestleMania, she's going to miss SummerSlam. It seems like after signing that new contract, she was going to be a big feature of WWE in the next year, and it seems like we're not going to see her for almost a year.
Yeah, certainly it seemed like she was gearing up to be a big part of their WrestleMania plans as well, as she often is, being one of the biggest stars in the women's division. And yeah, it's just very unfortunate. We obviously wish her a full and speedy recovery. Hopefully the surgery goes all fine and everything. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate to see. I guess the one silver lining for her is that it came just after she signed this new contract, rather than her winding down her contract with this
injury and adding that injury time on to it. I mean, it's obviously it's decent timing in that sense, but unfortunate overall. It seems like she was getting that big push. Well, I guess Charlotte and big push go hand in hand, but it seems like she was getting used quite regularly on TV, and it looked like just a complete freak accident. Like it was a case of slipping off the rope and catching her leg, and then on the moonsault on the outside as well. Hopefully it's a speedy recovery, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be.
October as the return time. That's fairly close to War Games. I suppose you could argue that she could
put back in there, give it that little bit extra time of rehab before she gets in the War Games match. But maybe, we'll see.
We also have backstage news on the recent WWE talent meeting. Apparently WWE held a talent meeting before the Day 1 special edition of Monday Night Raw on New Year's Day in San Diego. The meeting was led by WWE President Nick Khan and Chief Content Officer Triple H, Paul Levesque. The meeting was said to be short and positive, according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider. One person said it was a great meeting, designed on rallying the talent around WWE, and was very much a rah-rah meeting. So it sounds like morale is generally very high.
Morale's quite high. I can imagine a lot of this meeting will also have addressed the recent departure of Kevin Dunn as well. This is the first episode of Raw that Kevin Dunn wasn't producing.
Right.
So I imagine there's sort of some aspect of like, we're going to be okay. Everything's all good. And I can understand why, people, it's a rah-rah moment for WWE because they're on form lately.
Yes, absolutely.
Like they have been on form for quite some time, and going into the new year, the hottest period of the year, CM Punk,
That's just
Royal
one piece
Rumble.
Of the puzzle.
It is one piece of the puzzle, but going into the hottest season with the Rumble and the WrestleMania, morale's high.
Yes, the talent were apparently thanked for their work, with WWE announcing that 2023 was another record year for the organization. The records broken in 2023 include social media views, sponsorship revenue, premium live event viewership, and merchandise revenue as well.
It does seem like every media conference after every pay-per-view, Triple H comes out there and goes, hey, look, this was the highest selling show in this area. This is the highest selling SmackDown the night before. It seems to be that they are just absolutely smashing records at the moment.
Yeah, business is booming. You know, it's all about the boom. Now taking a step down to NXT, where the winner of the men's WWE NXT Breakout tournament was crowned at last night's New Year's Evil. Fraser, who won out of Riley Osborne, little flippy Riley Osborne, actually very impressive man.
He's quite impressive, but
big Obafemi, which one won?
It was Obafemi, of course.
Man.
Of course,
Booker T was loving it on commentary.
He's a big boy.
Booker T loves big men.
He does.
In the wrestling sense. He went one-on-one with Riley Osborne of Chase U, of course. Let's not.
Chase U.
I was heartbroken because I always will root for Chase U.
Yeah, of course.
But the pair faced off in the tournament final. Obafemi managed to score the victory following a powerbomb, but like a big one with a bit of a release element.
It was
as well.
it was like because he had that spinning back suplex powerbomb thing, and then he had the pop-up powerbomb that was just. It reminded me a little bit of The Last Ride in the sense of just chuck to the mat as hard as you can. Really liked it. I'm very excited to see what he can do in NXT because he's got a really good move set. And I think him versus Carmelo would be a great match. Him versus Dragunov.
I believe on the road to the final, Obafemi beat Miles Bourne of the No Quarter Catch crew, and also Tavion Heights, who in the kind of hype packages building up to the tournament, Tavion Heights seemed like one who had a lot of charisma about him. He seemed like one who maybe would go quite far, maybe even to the final himself. But after that first round of matches, when Obafemi destroyed Miles Bourne, I remember on the podcast, me, Ross, and Matthew going like, he's got to win the whole thing. And he has, and I think that's the right call.
He's done it.
Yes. He gets he can cash in a contract for an NXT title match at any time.
Any time that he wants. They've got a few stories they could go with here. Imagine Trick Williams finally wins the big one and then Oba comes and steals it from him.
Sorry.
Again.
Yeah. Well, that would be a good storyline.
It would be a great storyline.
Obafemi's the sort of guy who, well, you couldn't really tell he was that green in the ring.
No, not at all.
He seemed fine, but also he's the sort of wrestler who sometimes it's unfair, but doesn't maybe necessarily need to be as polished as other wrestlers because he's got that size, that power.
He's not bumping. He's chucking people about. You know, that's his job.
We've praised Obafemi massively there. Credit to Riley Osborne as well for his performance. He made Obafemi look really, really good as well. Obafemi spent time as a track and field athlete at the University of Alabama and then signed with WWE in August 2022 as part of the Next in Line program, WWE's policy of hiring athletic stars
athletes from other
colleges.
things rather than wrestling. I think he's a very good example of what that program can do. And obviously we've had other stars that have come through that way. And I think one of the big ones was Gable Steveson.
Okay.
This is the complete other side of it and going, this is what it should be.
Was Gable Steveson the next in line program?
He was part of the NIL program, but
was he?
It was
he kind of
precursor.
felt bigger than that. He was already an Olympian.
Yeah.
But yes, okay, yeah.
So I think Obafemi is a very good example of what this program can do and just how good the PC is.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what he does.
Yes, absolutely. Well, there you have it. Leave your thoughts and opinions on this story or any of our news stories in that comment section down below, and check out the news video that we put out earlier today as well if you missed it on this very channel. I've been Jack, this has been Fraser, and we'll see you very soon.